Good morning children. Philomena's classes is back with a new video, and today's video is on class 12's poem An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum, composed by Stephen Spender. Stephen Spender was born on 28 February 1909 in London. He was an English poet and an essayist. He left University College, Oxford without taking a degree and went to Berlin in 1930. Spender took a keen interest in politics and declared himself to be a socialist and pacifist. Books by Spender include Poems of Dedication, The Edge of Being, The Creative Element, The Struggle of the Modern, and an autobiography, Word Within Word. In An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum, he has concentrated on themes of social injustice and class inequalities. Through this poem, the poet is trying to make us aware of the pathetic condition of slum children. In the beginning, he has presented the picture of a classroom of an elementary school which is situated in a slum area. All the children sitting in it having dull and sad faces. So let's start the poem. Far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces, like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor. The tall girl with her weighed down head, the paper-seeming boy with rat's eyes, the stunted, unlucky air of twisted bones, reciting a father's gnarled disease, his lesson from his desk. At back of the dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young, his eyes live in a dream of a squirrel's game in tree room other than this. The children sitting in the classroom of this elementary school have dull and sad faces, and it seems that they are far from the breezy wind of posh area. Their appearance tells that they are unwanted. Their hair are just like rootless weeds which grows of its own. They have messy hair and nobody takes the trouble to comb them, which makes their appearance even worse. There is a tall girl in the classroom who has bent down her head due to the embarrassment of poverty. There is a boy who is as thin as a sheet of paper because he is suffering from malnutrition. He has a shot of greed in his eyes as if he wants to get something. Then there is a disabled boy who has inherited a disease from his father. The poet finds him so unlucky that instead of inheriting something good from his parents, he has got a disease. He is sitting at his desk and trying to learn his lesson. A boy is sitting at the back of the classroom where there is complete darkness. He is young, he is sweet, yet neglected. His eyes have some dreams, and it seems that he is not interested in his lesson. Instead, he wants to go outside and play a squirrel game in the treehouse. On sour cream walls, donations, Shakespeare's head, cloudless at dawn, civilized dome, writing all cities, belt, flowery, Tyrolese valley, open-handed map, awarding the word its word. And yet, for these children, these windows, not this map, their word, were all their futures painted with a fog, a narrow street sealed in with a lead sky, far, far from rivers, caves, and stars of words. In the second stanza of the poem, the poet is describing the walls of the classroom, and to describe them, he has used the expression sour cream, as sour cream is of off-white color and is a bit dull. In the very same way, the walls are dirty and old, and they are not recently painted. These walls are decorated with some posters and images. One of Shakespeare's picture is also pasted on it. His bald head seems like a semicircular shaped sun rising behind the buildings at the horizon. There is also a map on the wall that shows beautiful places full of flowers and churches. It also shows the beautiful Tyrolese valley of Austria. This map is just like an award for the whole world that provides a lot of information in its own way. But for these children, this map is a big lie. In their world, there is no rising sun, no flowers, and no churches. Through the window of their classroom, they can only see the slum where they live. Their future is concealed with the fog of misfortune. Their life is just like a narrow street that leads them towards a dark future. In their map, there are no rivers, no caves, and no stars. Surely Shakespeare is wicked. The map a bad example, with ships and sun and love tempting them to steal, for lives that slowly turn in their cramped holes, from fog to endless night. On their slag heap, these children wear skin peeped through by bones and spectacles of steel, with mended glass like bottle bits on stones. All of their time and space are foggy slum, so blot their maps with slums as big as doom. These children have been living a pathetic life since they are born that has filled their hearts with hatred. For them, Shakespeare is an evil person, even the world is an evil place. Because Shakespeare talks about love and beauty. His bald head resembles a rising sun, but in the life of these children, there is no rising sun, there is no love, and no beauty. The map that shows the ships and beautiful places persuades them to commit crime, it forces them to steal. Their houses are so small that they look like small holes, but somehow they have learned to adjust themselves into them. These children are so weak, they are suffering from malnutrition. On the debris of their bodies, they wear a thin cloth like skin through which their bones can be seen. Because of malnutrition, they have weak eyesight. But the specs they wear are made of steel. They are heavy, cheap, and uncomfortable. They are badly repaired too, and it seems that they are made of stone by sticking pieces of glass onto them. All the time and the space that they have is the slum. The poet is troubled to see that these slums are increasing day by day, and in the life of these children, it is as big as a disaster. Unless governor, inspector, visitor, this map becomes their window, and these windows that shut upon their lives like catacombs break open till they break the town and show the children to green fields and make their word run azure on gold sands and let their tongues run naked into books and white and green leaves open history their whose language is the sun. In the last stanza of the poem, the poet is requesting all the authorities to take some immediate actions to improve the condition of these children. He is asking them to make the word map a reality for them because the map that they know is the slum that they could see through the window of their classroom. It is just like a tomb that has prevented them from all the opportunities. He is requesting the authorities to break the system that causes inequality and injustice. He urges them to take these children out of the slum so that they can see the green fields and the blue sky. They can feel the golden sand and can taste the knowledge because they need both the knowledge and the opportunity. They must be given a chance because history is created by those who shine like a sun. Dear children, this is all for today. In my next video, I'll be discussing the structure, rhyme scheme, and literary devices of the poem. If you are having any type of problem, confusion, or query, you can leave it in the comment box. I'll try to answer your questions. Till then, goodbye.